I've always had this thought or idea that I'm just going to be average for the rest of my life. And that I broke through that story only within the last few years. So it's just that story. It keeps revolving around in my head. And I remember in high school, there was this guy named Russell, and he could do anything. Like he'd jump up on a table and then just do a flip off of it. I'm like, man, is there nothing? Like he can do everything. He's on the basketball team. He's on the football team. He can do a backflip whenever he feels like it. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm never going to be able to do anything like that. And that's just always been there. And that's not just for physical things, but also for like business and being a father and being a husband. Like, I'm just going to be the average dude. And so I put myself in these situations that challenges that idea.
Welcome to the Driven Dad Podcast, where we celebrate dads that live with passion and lead with purpose. On this show, we'll host some dads that live incredible lives. Being a dad is the most important job you'll ever have. Get inspired by our amazing guest dads that refuse to live life in mediocrity and live epic lifestyles with their families. All right, guys, welcome back to the Driven Dad Podcast. Today's guest is someone who truly lives what he teaches. Kevin Wood is the owner of CrossFit Moncton and has been coaching athletes of all levels for over 17 years. He's a CrossFit Level 3 coach and Enlifted Level 2 mindset coach, combining physical training with powerful mindset work to help people build strength from the inside out. Kevin also hosts the Resilient Humans podcast, where he explores what it really takes to bounce back and thrive. He's a dedicated husband, father to his daughter Holly, and a volunteer firefighter with the Riverview Fire Department. Whether he's on the trail, in the gym, or serving his community, Kevin is on a mission to help 10,000 people become more resilient humans. Welcome to the Driven Dad Podcast, Kevin.
Man, that was a great intro. Thanks. I'm going to use that for when I'm giving speeches.
Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah.
I love it.
Appreciate it.
I always enjoy the intros because I feel like as, Eastern Canadians or whatnot, or just Canadians, we're too humble sometimes,
100%.
Right?
Yep.
And I think we also tend to forget about our accomplishments and how awesome they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get it. And I've heard that with people on my podcast as well. They're like, wow, can you send that to me? That was really good. Yeah, no problem. I love writing them up because like you said, you're not going to do that for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's cool when other people get to do it and you hear it from another person's perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm really thrilled to have you here, Kevin. For those of you that don't know kind of our relationship, we've both been CrossFit gym owners. You still are after 17 years, which is, to me, is mind-blowing and very impressive. We go back in the OG days of CrossFit, you even more so than myself. So tell us a little bit about how you found CrossFit and maybe bring it back to today and how it's changed and evolved for you and just as a sport in general over the years.
Yeah, this is a great story. I used to be a former phys ed teacher. So I was teaching phys ed at Tantramar High School out in Sackville. And it was October 2006. A parent came up to me at the parent-teacher interviews and said he was a police officer and he did CrossFit with his patrol. And he's telling me about it. He's like, I know there's a fitness component in your gym. So you should try it and see if the kids would like it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll look into it and see, right? We were doing the typical push-ups, sit-ups, the beep test, the Cooper test, all that stuff. So I kind of put it off. And then I was teaching his son and his daughter, and they asked me later on, they're like, so have you ever looked into that CrossFit thing? I was like, oh, all right, I forgot about that. So I went down to the old school computer. We didn't have laptops back then. There's big boxes, yeah. And so you're almost on dial-up. And I start scrolling through the CrossFit.com website, and I was looking for something that looked kind of fun. There was back squats for 5x5, and I was like, that's boring. So I found one. It was the Filthy 50s. I was like, okay, there's a lot of things there. So I spent a lot of time downloading videos on how to do these movements because it was all brand new to me. I didn't really come from a fitness background. I've never had a gym membership in my life. So all this exercise stuff was completely new. So I'm literally downloading these pixelated, blurry videos, trying to figure out what they're doing. I set it all up and then I start a clock and I go. And it was about 35 minutes in, and I got halfway through the filthy 50s and had to stop. I was like, I can't keep going. So I got to the lunges. It's supposed to be body weight walking lunges. I thought, oh, it's CrossFit. It's probably like 50 pounds in each hand. So I'm doing 50-pound walking lunges down the hallway, and I couldn't walk for the next week. I actually had to ask the secretary of the school for a key to the elevator just so I could get back down to the gym. Like I couldn't walk. And so that was back in the day. I've obviously learned a lot since then about scaling and modifying and, helping people find out where they currently are and how to get them to progress. But yeah, that was really just like trial by fire from the start. So, that's evolved. I went in, ended up taking my personal training course through Fitness New Brunswick. There I met a girl named Jeanette Pearson, and she was doing CrossFit stuff on her own. She's like, oh yeah, we should go do CrossFit at lunch on the break. So we went down, we started talking, and she's like, yeah, you should open up a CrossFit gym. I'm like, yeah, we could do that. She goes, no, not we, you. I'm like, oh. So that kind of planted a seed, and then I just started thinking about it, like, I think I could do this. So July 5th, 2008, in the Queen Elizabeth School playground, I messaged the principal and I said, how much could I rent your playground for the summer? He goes, $50, and we'll just put it towards the playground fund. I'm like, that's the cheapest rent I'll ever pay in my life. Yes,
Amazing.
Let's do it. And we had an inaugural hopper event. We just pulled random exercises out of a bin. I think there was 30 some people that showed up that first day, and yeah, we had an awesome summer until it started getting dark and cold. And we had to find an indoor location, and 17 years later, here we are.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've participated in the hopper event, not that year, but probably like 2011 and on.
You were, when we were at Alcock Street, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
And then at the arena here in Dieppe.
Yes. Yeah. Those were some of my early memories. And for me, like, they're super nostalgic. Like, that's the era that I fell in love with CrossFit. So that competition to me is a really, really good memory, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of people's first competition, and we heard that over the years, like, this is what really got me into the competition side of it and just wanting to push myself a little harder. And I'm like, that's awesome. And that was the point of the hopper. It was very, we didn't have like 28 different divisions. It was, here's the workout, do it. And then that was it. And you just got ranked. There was no age groups. There was no nothing. It was just, let's go. Let's all do this together. Our biggest year, I think we had 225 people do the event. So we've since kind of toned it down and we brought it in-house. So now it's our anniversary, basically, workout every year. We do a barbecue afterwards. So this year we had like 40 some people from the gym just come in and do that workout. So it was probably the best one of all time. But yeah, it was good.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now that CrossFit, like throughout the last 15-ish years, CrossFit's evolved quite a bit. How has your gym changed as the sport of CrossFit, or the brand of CrossFit evolves to what it is today?
It's a lot different now that people just know about it. Like if you go on the street and just ask some random person, have you ever heard of CrossFit? 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes. They'll know about it. Back when we first started, no one knew anything. So it was my job to tell as many people as I could and get the word out. So now it's about dispelling the myths that people hear about CrossFit, like you're going to get injured, or it's too intense, or I have to be in shape before I get started. Like, if those are the top 3. If I could eliminate those myths from society, it would make my job way easier.
I agree. I still get those questions or those comments said to me, and I'm not even a gym owner anymore. Just because they know that I either used to own a gym or I still do participate in CrossFit workouts. And I feel like I get them more on a personal level now that I'm not old, but I'm older. Like, I'm not 20 like I used to be when I started CrossFit. So people are even more kind of skeptical of how I do CrossFit, or like why I choose to do CrossFit as a training methodology. But it's like you just said, it's so, like, on the surface level, everyone sees it as a sport, right? Like as the competition of CrossFit, but it's so much more. And it's a really, really great training method for everyone of all levels, all ages, like you said.
Like we see it we have so many different age groups. We have kids from starting at age 6 to 13. Once they hit 14, they come into our adult classes. We have a babies and barbells class. We just ran that today. There's brand new moms, few months out of giving birth. They're in there working out with their kids beside them. That's freaking amazing. We have a master's program where their oldest member in the master's group is 84.
That's awesome.
Tell me, who has 2 replaced knees and 2 replaced shoulders. So tell me that you're not fit enough to do CrossFit. Like, I really want to just slap them across the face and say, you got to come in and watch these elderly people doing CrossFit. You have no excuse. There's no excuse that I've ever heard that, no, I can't do it. I'm not going to believe you, because I've seen the contrary so many times over the last 17 years.
So what would be like your elevator pitch for, let's say, for a dad specifically, someone in their 30s and 40s? The classic comments or the classic excuses are, I don't have time, I don't have the energy, my knees hurt, I'm too old.
Okay.
Those classic ones.
I can dissect every single one of those. I don't have time. I'll say, show me your phone, because I'm going to look at your screen time, and it's going to say, oh, you spent 3 hours on TikTok or Instagram today. You have time. You're just not prioritizing it the way you want. So there's that one. My knees hurt. Okay, well, they probably hurt because you don't exercise. Bam, there's that one gone. Name any other excuse. There's always an antidote to it. And it's usually prioritization and move more. And at CrossFit, it's not, when people think of the gym, oh, I got to spend hours in the gym. You don't. Our classes, since COVID, we reduced them to 45 minutes.
Okay.
We do a warm up, we do a lift, we do a workout, we do stretching and mobility every single class. You're in and out. It's very efficient. Do that 2 or 3 times a week, and you're off to the races. You're going to be, this gets into the dad part, but you're going to be a better wife or a better husband and a better father because you spend time in the gym. They go hand in hand. I mean, I had you on my podcast, and we echoed the same sentiment. You are a better individual. You'll have a clearer mind. Not cool as in like, look at me, but just a more calm and level-headed attitude because you're spending time working on yourself.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think fitness or taking care of yourself and your own health is the solution to every problem on a basic level, right? If you want to be a better husband, a better father, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to be more successful financially in your business and all that stuff, take care of yourself first. The rest will kind of come from that foundation, right?
Yeah.
Creates more energy, more patience, more drive, more pride. And people feel that vibe, right? Like when you're vibrant, people around you are going to feel that, and it's going to bring some positive stuff around you.
I just finished up a 60-kilometer race, we'll call it. I wasn't racing anybody. I just wanted to beat my own time, but I ran the Dobson Trail. So 60 kilometers from Fundy to Riverview. I did it years and years ago. It was 16 years ago, I think, when I did it. Took me just over 12 hours. And this time I was 9:46. So shaved over 2 hours off my time. I don't run. Like, I'm not a classic runner. I don't go out and do it every week. In fact, the month leading up to it, I ran a total of 3 kilometers total. And people after I obviously posted about it and showed my certificate and stuff. And people were like, wow, that's so inspirational. And I don't do it for comments or compliments at all. I want people to use that inspiration and turn it into action. I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you. I really appreciate the comment, but now what are you going to do differently? What are you going to sign up for next? Don't just say it to say it so that you do something. And that's kind of what you said in the intro. It's to create, 10,000 resilient humans. I want that to influence people, not just inspire people.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that. And do you think you were able to do that 60-kilometer run because you do CrossFit, or because of you're genetically an athlete, or do you think it's like a compounded effect of your lifestyle from the last 15, 20 years?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not a natural athlete. And that's part of my origin story. I've always had this thought or idea that I'm just going to be average for the rest of my life. And that I broke through that story only within the last few years. So it's just that story. It keeps revolving around in my head. And I remember in high school, there was this guy named Russell, and he could do anything. Like he'd jump up on a flip and then just do a flip off of it. I'm like, man, is there nothing? Like he can do everything. He's on the basketball team. He's on the football team. He can do a backflip whenever he feels like it. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm never going to be able to do anything like that. And that's just always been there. And that's not just for physical things, but also for like business and being a father and being a husband. Like, I'm just going to be the average dude. And so I put myself in these situations that challenges that idea. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can just wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to run from Fundy to Riverview and then see if I can do it under 10 hours. Right. So it's a mindset thing. And yes, obviously the physical thing is there, but it's definitely not genetics. It's something that I've had to work towards and, be consistent with over the years. Like I'm looking over here at all your medals and stuff, did you train exactly specifically for those events? Maybe a few of them, but I'm sure it was your history of consistency in CrossFit and fitness that allowed you to earn those things, right? And they're cool, like little badges of honor, but you don't really do them to win. You do them for the experience. And that's what I hope to, impart on my daughters that, I'm not doing this to win a medal so I can throw it on the wall. I'm doing this to show you that things are possible even when you don't think they are.
100%. That's great. I agree with that. And I think what's really cool, which you kind of said, is you have a following of people. Let's say there's, 500 eyes that are always on you, that believe in you, that like what you do. And when you do those things, it kind of opens up the door of possibility for maybe like one or two or three of those 500 people. And maybe it's their moment to say like, well, like Kevin did that. So like, maybe I can do it, or maybe I can do something else. Right.
Yep.
So it's amazing. Like, and you'll never know the influence you really had on everyone.
Yep.
Maybe on a few, maybe they'll message you once in a while, something like that. But I think for people like us, that's the greatest medal of honor that you can ever have is
100%.
Whether they tell us or not, if we've influenced one person to make one positive choice, then our mission's complete.
That's the point. That's the point of life.
I agree.
That's what it is. Like, what's the meaning of life? To be of service to others. That's it.
I'm fired up right now.
Yeah, it's really it. And I have two stories about the influence part. When Joanne and I started getting into Go Ruck events, we talked about our story and we brought that story back and our experience back, and people were like, oh, really? And they started getting curious about it. So then we started running like mini events here in Moncton. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, well, there's an event in Maine, and everybody's like, yeah, let's go. So we had a whole group. We rented an Airbnb, and it's people that would have never even clicked a link to look at it. But it was because of our experience and the way we talked about it, the camaraderie and, the challenge part, it influenced them to also try it out. And for them, it was life-changing. And then the other side of it, the things that you don't hear, back when I was a teacher, in the classroom, you're not like, people aren't really listening to you. The kids don't care. It's between the classes that you can really influence kids. So I would open up the gym every day at noon. This is when I was at Petty-Kodiak. And I would just chat with kids. I'd eat my lunch. We'd talk about food, talk about nutrition, talk about fitness and stuff. We did a little CrossFit circuit every now and then, like as an intramural kind of program. And then this is years later, I'm buying motorcycle pants down here in at Motoplex, and a guy comes up to me, he asks if I could help him or he could help me, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'm just looking for this. And he goes, you don't remember me, do you? I'm like, I don't think so. He goes, you taught me phys ed at Petty-Kodiak, and I just want you to know that you changed the trajectory of my life from just chatting with me at lunch hour about food.
I just got chills.
What? Really? Like, that's crazy, because like that wasn't the point. The point was just to get on the same level of these kids. It's not like I'm higher than you. It's we're at the same level. Here's what I eat. This is why I eat it. He goes, what you told me back then has lasted all of my life up until this point. He goes, all of my food decisions are based on what we talked about at noontime.
That's incredible, man.
And how would I have ever known that?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Like you never know. You just never know.
That's incredible. And for everyone out there that has been positively influenced by someone's actions or someone's words, I want to let you guys know that if you want to encourage those people to keep being an inspiration, that it means so much to people like us to hear back from your successes.
Yep.
It's just, one little kind word or one little kind message, and it'll keep us fueled up for a long time.
Every time. And it's funny you say that. Now when people, and this happened, I started it during COVID. You and I and a few other gym owners would meet. It was a crappy time of life.
100%.
Life, business, it all sucked. I started making a scrapbook of notes. So whether it was like handwritten cards or like emails or just, Facebook messages, I would print them out and put them in this binder. So now whenever I have those days, and every business owner has those days where it's like, why am I doing this? It's such a grind. Like you get into the dumps sometimes. I open up that book and just start flipping through, and I'm like, oh, right. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for them.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah.
There's a girl that called that her success files. And whatever, it was more like on a personal level than a business level, but whatever she succeeded at in life or whatever she achieved, whether it's a marathon or a business thing, she would put it in a file. So she would do the exact same thing as you said. On a crappy day, she'd go back to that file and, get her spirits up and remember all that she's already achieved while she's working on whatever she's working on at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's like one of those things that I've had in my head as a great idea, but you just have to physically start it,
That's
right?
it. Just go by dollar store binder. Just start filling it with those like sheets that you slide in. So yeah.
A thought that I had when you were talking about this earlier, like the type of personalities that you and I have and people like us have were natural leaders, if you will. And we tend to be the people that, initiate things. So you said you initiated that Go Ruck kind of club. And for the last probably 15 years, I've had this discussion many times with Renee, my wife, where I'm always like, why are we always the people that like book that chalet to go on a ski trip or like initiate this thing to go do that activity with friends or whatever? But I've recently come to the realization that, it's kind of like a part of being a leader or like a natural leader or like having our type of personalities where that's just like who we are. I can't expect everyone to initiate things like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe our group of friends rely on us like on a certain level to, organize that one event per summer or that one event per winter or whatever it is, that ski trip. And it's just like one thing that I always thought about. Like I'd get frustrated. I'm like, why is it like me that has to book that first cottage, right? And now I'm like, I'm going to book that first cottage. I'm going to get it. I understand how it works now, right? And I understand that not everyone's like that. I am like that. And I want to go on that ski trip. And if I want to go on that ski trip, I'm the one that needs to book that chalet, right?
I often get in trouble because if I have an idea and I want to do something, I want to do it now. I don't want to like ask and then decide a week later and then start can we do this tomorrow? Like I would just want to do it tomorrow, and nobody wants to join with me for that. So I'm like, it's a struggle. It definitely is.
Give me a call. I'll go.
Yeah, there you go. 100%.
So you've talked a lot about, or you've talked to me in the past about resilience as a core theme in your life. How has becoming a dad shaped your outlook on resilience?
That's a really good question. It's, it was always cliche when people say, your life is going to change the second, you become a parent, and it's 100% true. You probably had the same experience. It's just, you're instantly not the same person, and it's like a flash. It's pretty crazy. I was there. It was kind of funny. Our birthing story. Joanna was at the gym doing front squats in the corner, and her water burst just after. I was coaching a class, and I'm like, okay, let's go, wrap it up. And then we're off to the hospital. We get there, and I had to go. They put her in the observation room, and I went downstairs to get a parking pass because that's what you do. And when I come back, she's not in the room. Like, where's my wife? And they're like, oh, you're Kevin? Yeah, she's giving birth in this room over here. I'm like, what the hell? So literally 4 times, like it was under an hour from her water breaking at the gym to like now we're parents. It was pretty crazy.
In true CrossFit fashion.
100%. Like my parents almost didn't make it because they wouldn't answer the phone. But anyway, when it comes to resiliency, you just do it. Like there's no lesson books. I didn't watch any videos on how to do this right because I don't think there is a right way. I've been influenced by my parents, obviously. And, there's things that I want to do that they did. And there's things that I want to do that they didn't do. So my dad was never really the affectionate type. He was never like, I love you every night and tucked me in or whatever, but I knew he loved me. And so that was one thing that I decided to be different. And it's every night. No, don't go to bed angry. And we always say we love you before we go to bed. Every night, no matter what. Even if I'm away, it's FaceTime. Love you. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Right. And I feel like that's the soft side of resiliency that people often don't talk about. Being vulnerable, showing emotions and showing that you care. When people talk about resiliency, they talk about, grit and doing hard things. And yes, that's one side of it, but there's also the soft side of resiliency. And that's the part that it's still taking some practice on my side to get the hang of, because it's not something that I was, naturally born with or raised with either.
I definitely feel you on that level. It was a similar scenario in my upbringing where you definitely feel the love, but the words don't necessarily get said at all, or at least not too often.
Yep.
And it's been like a common thought for Renee and I, like as we've become a parent, we've thought back to our own upbringing and wondered why certain things were the way they were. And there's probably certain things that are like generational, like the generation of parents were different, 30 years ago. And I think a lot of things get talked about a lot more nowadays, like the softer side of being a dad, for instance. I think it's become publicly okay to show affection, right? But there's definitely a part of me that like it's so strong in me that I want to tell my kids I love them every day, multiple times a day. I don't know how I would not do that.
Right.
I don't understand how I would feel a certain way that I wouldn't do that on a daily level. So there's definitely some question marks.
It's hard to think about the opposite when you're so used to it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just common. Like right before coming here to the studio, Holly's in her room. She's talking to her friends, playing whatever, Roadblocks or whatever. I knock on the door. She goes, come in. All right, I'm taking off. She goes, okay, Dad, I love you. Stands right up. Like she stops exactly what she's doing. And that's, whether it's trained or not, that's just the system that we have. Like whenever we leave the house or whenever we're going to bed, it's bye, I love you.
That's
it's
amazing.
Every time. Yeah.
How old is she now?
11.
If she's still telling you that she loves you at 11, I think you're winning.
We're getting there though. I can feel it. We're right on the edge. So
you're almost not cool.
We went camping on the weekend. We were in Truro, and there's moments. It's like, okay, we can see the teenage years kind of clicking in here, but
right.
I'll hang on to this love you moments as long as possible. So
right. Yeah, I feel like I have zero experience with the teenage years, but I feel like some parts of that time scares me a little bit to think about it.
Yeah.
Not so much about my own kids, but about the influence coming from the other ones, right?
That's it. Yep.
But I think I always kind of come back to my own thoughts of like, we'll do our best.
Yeah.
To listen to them and to teach them what we can. Teach them, what's right, what's wrong, and then give them freedom and hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah. And that's how I was raised. And that's how I hope to raise my daughter as well. If ever I was leaving the house, once I got my license, it was always, where are you going? Who are you going with? And when will you be back? That was it. I was free to do whatever, go wherever with whoever, as long as my mom knew those three things. I had freedom, and that was great. So we're at the point now where, Holly's soon going to be, staying on her own or babysitting or going out with her friends, and we don't have to be there. And as long as we know those three things, I'm fine.
Yeah. I think giving them freedom is going to, make them develop a sense of responsibility and make them learn things a lot faster.
Because what's the opposite to that? Controlling.
Yeah.
And
Rebelling.
we all know what happens when you try to control a kid.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw something a few days ago, and basically these parents would make it clear to their kids that whatever the case was, if they would call them and they were in trouble or they were in jail, let's say, or, something, either something really bad legally or just something that the parents, don't regularly allow them to do or whatnot, there would be no judgment. There would be no, immediate anger or consequences. The only thing that the parents wanted the kid to know is literally the only thing we care about right now is your safety.
Yep. So
tell us where you are. We're going to go get you. We're not mad. Everything's cool. We just want to make sure that you're fine. And, if there's lessons to be learned, we'll deal with it tomorrow or whatever.
Sure. Yep. We had a written contract with our mom, our parents. And if we were drunk somewhere or something happened, we call, no questions asked. There's no talking in the car on the way home. We're just going to come get you. And that's it.
I think that's
handwritten,
amazing.
Written right out. And we all signed it. We all dated it. That was
that's
a
contract.
Amazing.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down. Good thing we're not there yet, but
we'll get there.
I'm sure it's gonna come pretty fast.
For sure.
So I want to talk to you about a little setback that you've dealt with recently, when you had to take some blood tests for your firefighter. Was it, or explain to me the whole thing? So
this was last fall. Joanna sent me a post on Facebook about Riverview Fire looking for volunteers. So I went to the info session. I was interested. I had earned my level 1 firefighting when I was in high school. So over the course of 2 or 3 years, we did all the coursework, written all the tests. So we were able to, volunteer. So this is 26 years later when I made the call. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's put this to use. You had to pass a physical test. So the first part was blood pressure. And I went in and it was higher than the standard that they have for acceptance. I was like, this does not make any sense. I've been active for 20 plus years. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Fairly stress-free. It didn't make any sense to me. And so I went to my doctor and she's like, no, it looks normal here. And I kept going to Shoppers Drug Mart and popping my arm in the self-serve one. I was like, it's in the normal range. So I started chat GPTing and doctor Googling things. And I had taken a supplement that morning when I had that blood pressure done at the fire department. And it was a really high sodium supplement. I'm like, I bet that had something to do with it. It increases the vascular pressure from sodium intake. And there's something called white coat syndrome. So obviously I was a little nervous going into it, and that can actually amp up your blood pressure. So when I was at my doctor, didn't feel that at all because there was no pressure because I was already cut from the team before even getting on it. And so that was it. I was like, well, I guess I'll have to wait till next year and see if I can work out more or eat. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, eat healthier or whatever. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to roll over right yet. I'm going to see if I can get a second shot at this and just have a doctor's note to say, he's my patient. He's in excellent health. I have all the markers here, and then sign and date. And they actually accepted it. They said, yeah, we'll take that. And haven't looked back. Been training with them since October of last year, and I've been off of probation since March, April, beginning of May. been going to calls ever since. Just
Cool.
went on a call out in at the Bay of Fundy. There was a kayaker that flipped over, so I got to hop on the truck and head out there and lend a hand.
That'd be a cool call.
Yeah.
More like a search and rescue type thing.
I don't have my swift water training yet, but so the career guys went out on the Zodiac, but I stayed on the shore and kind of helped manage the scene a little bit.
So when you got your results, like, what do you think made you think, I'm not giving up on this right now? Like, I want to dig into this deeper.
Well, I have 2 tattoos on my arm. One's DFQ for don't fucking quit. And the other is Aut Vienam Invenium Aut Fascium, which means I'll either find a way or I'll make one. And, every tattoo on me, well, almost every tattoo on me means something. And it's just part of me. There's no like, okay, well, I guess that's what it is. And then just give up. There's no giving up. Like, there's always another way. And if there isn't, then I'm going to exhaust all of the options possible before I say, well, it is what it is. That's the last resort.
Why do you think you're like that?
That's a really good one too.
Were you always like that?
So that's funny you say that. I thought I wasn't. I thought I wasn't always like that. And then I started doing like my own mindset work on myself and digging back into like previous stories. And it turns out that I have been like that ever since a very young age. And I used to BMX race on the Salisbury Road. There used to be a BMX track there. And in my last year of racing, I made it a goal to come in first place every single race for the entire season. I didn't remember that until I kind of went back into my memory and I saw like some of my old trophies in my mom's attic. It's like, oh yeah, I was a goal-setting, achievement-oriented kid. This was when I was like 12 years old. And so, yeah, it's almost like I have been like that for most of my life. I just forgot about it. Because you don't highlight the good things. You always only remember the bad things, right? Oh, remember when you failed that? Well, you're probably going to fail this next thing too. But then once you start going back into the highlight reel and writing those stories out, and breathing through those stories, you start to kind of feel the emotions that you had back then. Like, I won the biggest trophy of the year that year, and that was friggin' awesome. So
that's amazing. Do you think that like going through the motions of where society steered you, like in your later years, like teenage, early adulthood years, like, okay, you finish high school, you need to go to university now, just going through the motions, do you think you adapted like kind of a personality that you weren't really, and that kind of got you out of that mindset?
Yes, that's a good story. I was always the type of person that hated, like loathed, would do anything in my power not to be in front of a group. Forget cameras. Like, no way. I do not want to be in front of a group. And if there were like group presentations, I'd always be like the last to speak or not speak at all and just like hold the poster up in front of the class.
Okay.
And then I didn't want to be that person forever. It was like an internal battle. And then when I went to university, it was my first year. I was living in residence, and I looked around. I'm like, nobody knows me here. I can be whoever I want to be and not get judged or like, who's that guy, right? Like, so I was like, screw it. I'm just going to be who I want to be. And I got a nickname, Limbs, and I just lived by it. I ended up running for my the president of our residence, and I did my election speech with 3 face cloths duct taped to my body. And I won. So, like, talk about... I went from not wanting to be in front of a classroom doing a presentation on like moths to giving an election speech in face cloths. So that's polar opposite.
That's an amazing publicity stunt there.
Yeah, it was great.
Lesson for marketing right there.
Can't do that these days though.
No,
that was back in the late 90s.
So you're not going to do like a CrossFit Moncton marketing stunt with that.
That'd be rough. I'm sure there's pictures out there. Like, I could never run for politics ever because there's shit out there that it would get me canceled pretty quick.
That's an amazing story. I love it. So if you could give some advice to dads out there that are stuck like in a negative loop of of unhealthy habits, and unhealthy self-sabotage, I guess, what would that advice be?
So you mentioned at the start of that, the negative loop, and those are just stories. So when people say, I want a better mindset, what is mindset? What is your mindset? A lot of people don't think about it. Like if you look up the word mindset in the dictionary, it just says one state of mind. That's a circular definition. It doesn't tell you anything about the word itself, right? So when we talk about mindset, your mindset is exactly equal to your identity, which is exactly equal to the stories that you're telling yourself to yourself. And so if somebody has a negative loop, it means that they have a negative story and they're using negative words over and over and over again. And the analogy I like to use is it's if you have a laundry room in this house. If you took a bucket of marbles and put it in your dryer and hit on, what kind of images or emotions come up? It's chaos, destruction, right? Like noisy. And that's what the negative loops in your head feel like, sound like. You're going to have those same emotions. So what you have the ability to do is push pause on those negative emotions or push pause on that dryer, take out a marble or a thought and analyze it. Look at it, write it down. If you start writing down your words or your stories, you can then kind of take a step back. You go from being an active participant in that story, and once it's on paper, now you become an observer. You can edit that story. You don't have to keep using those same words over and over and over again. You can edit them. So, a very simple one is, a lot of dads will say, I should fill in the blank. I should, eat better. I should spend more time with my kids. Okay, well, let's write that sentence down. I should spend more time with my kids. What kind of emotions do you think come up when they say that? There's pressure. It's like, I'm not doing it. I know I should. It's very negative. So, okay, let's do this. Let's change the word should to could. Well, I could spend more time with my kids. Well, how does that change your emotions about that sentence now? Well, now, there's possibility. It's kind of open. It's like, okay, well, that's way better than conflict and anger before. Okay, let's take it one more step. Let's take out the word could and put the word can. Well, I can spend more time with my kids. That feels different. You can usually see somebody like sit back in their chair and they're like, yeah, I can. I can spend more time with my kids. And then we add the word because at the end of it. And as soon as you do that, it gives it so much meaning and value. And they're ready to do it. And they're going to, because they wrote down why they're going to. So it's magic. Your mindset is just your words, and you have the ability to change those words, but only if you get them out of your head and put on paper.
I agree 100%. Have you ever read the book, The Secret?
Yeah. So when I taught at Petty-Kodiak, there was a class I taught called Career and Life Management, CALM class. And this wasn't part of the curriculum was goal setting. And so I gave them like both sides of the spectrum. And one side was like SMART goals and writing them all out. And the other side of the spectrum was The Secret. And we actually read that book as part of our curriculum. And I told them, like, both are good. What one works best for you? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you the options. And some kids really they dove into it and they're like, yes, I can manifest my goals, whatever I want, my high grades, my sports achievements, whatever it is. Yeah.
I feel like I would have really enjoyed being in your class.
It was fun. I tried to make it fun. Yeah.
If we'd have a bunch of teachers, or if all teachers would be that invested, I think it'd be a different world.
100%. They got to keep the teachers, though. That's the problem. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We won't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I truly believe that the way you speak is the way your life is going to be, right?
Yep.
It's not rocket science. If you think about yourself and the people around you, you can see the picture of what what kind of thoughts you have on a daily basis and how your life reflects that. And same for the people around you. Like, you can tell there's someone that brings the energy to everywhere he goes. That person is likely successful in all areas of life, right?
Yep.
And it's not a coincidence. It's intentional. that person brings energy. People like being around him. Success is going to, go straight to him because of the energy he brings everywhere as he goes.
Yep.
He's going to have job offers. He's going to have business opportunities, partnership offers, stuff like that. Like, people are going to fuel on his energy wherever he goes. I think that's so valuable to recognize that, and recognize the power of, like, it's not necessarily a personality trait. It's like a habit, right?
Correct. You got to practice it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we said right at the very beginning about, the influence part. I'm choosing to use different words to change my stories, to change my mindset, to change my identity in hopes of influencing others to do the same. And we set up this soft talk challenge at the gym where on the board or on the wall, we have all the soft words that people generally use. I think I might want to try that. Well, that's not solid. Like, I don't even know if you believe yourself when you say that. Like, I think I might want to lose 5 pounds. No, you don't. And that's not like, I'm going to lose 5 pounds. Okay, that's solid. I believe you now, right? So we put these words up at the gym, and now other people in the gym will call out others when they hear those words being said.
Amazing.
That's the influence. Like, yes, now we're changing our mindsets. It's not, well, I'm going to try to deadlift 200 today. Or are you going to try, or are you going to do it? Like, those are two different things.
100%. And that goes to another extent of surrounding yourself with like-minded people and with people that want you to succeed.
Correct.
So your circle of friends is going to likely steer your life one way or another. That's probably my number one belief in life. Like, choosing the right people around you is going to decide if, they're going to bring you up or down.
Correct. How many smokers do you hang out with?
Can't name one.
Me neither. Right? So it's the same thing, right? But if all of your friends are smokers, there's a really good chance you're smoking too.
Yep.
So it's just the same thing. Drinking. I really don't hang out with people that drink.
Yep.
I don't drink either. So it's influence for sure.
And it's also like the easiest thing that you can choose to do also, right? It's one of my buddies said it right. Like, family is family, but friends, you get to choose your friends, right? And it's just a choice, and it doesn't mean you can't be friends with the people you went to high school with, or your high school best friend or whatever. You can still talk to those people, but I'm not going to go drink with that guy on a Friday night at 11 p.m., right? I'm going to hang out.
What's 11 p.m.?
Yeah,
I don't know what the time of day is. It's bedtime, baby.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So you set a bold goal to help 10,000 people, like we've mentioned before, to become resilient. What drives that mission, and how does it align with the legacy that you want to leave for your daughter, Holly?
Joanne and I did a trip down to the domes in the Kingston Peninsula. And on the way driving back, I was like, I have an idea. Write this down. And I still have it. It's like on the back of a receipt. So I drew this. It's kind of like a pie chart. I was like, okay, write the word fitness down. So she wrote that down. I was like, write nutrition down. She wrote that down. I go, there's one more. Write down mindset. She wrote that down. I put the word resilient with an arrow to the middle. And that was the moment. I remember where we were. We were literally waiting for the ferry to get across to the other side of the mainland. And it was like, this is resiliency. If you are balanced in your fitness, your nutrition, and your mindset, you're truly a resilient human. And so I think of it as like a 3-legged stool. If one of those components or pillars is missing or deficient, your stool falls over. You're not truly resilient. So you need to be balanced in those 3. And that comes from my origin story. When I started the gym, the whole purpose was to tell as many people about CrossFit as possible. Just fitness, 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 shove it down your throat, whether you want it or not. And people showed up, they worked out, they got pretty good results, but not the best results that they could. So I was like, okay, there's a missing piece. So that's when I started consuming, for lack of better words, nutrition content. So precision nutrition level 1, level 2, started coaching people specifically on nutrition. And then the stuff that they were doing in the gym, they were getting even better results quicker. I was like, all right, I found it. This is it. And then the nutrition habits wouldn't last. It's like, okay, well, there's something missing now. What is it? And that's that mindset component, the negative loops. People would self-sabotage. They go back into those old stories. So then once I added the mindset component to it, I was like, that's it. It's the trifecta. Once you have those 3 and you're solid in your habits around those, that's when you are a truly resilient human.
I love it. That's awesome. And how do you plan to deliver that to 10,000 people?
It's through, like you said, influence. So last August, I did a just a bar challenge, 100 reps a day with a different movement using just a bar. And a few people saw that I was doing it, like, oh, can I do it with you? I'm like, I was just doing it for me, but yeah, I guess so. So, 5 or 10 people just signed on. And so I know August is always the least attended month of the gym. So I was like, this is a perfect month. So just for next August, or the August coming up, I'm going to do a 100 rep body weight challenge. So I threw that out there and there's already 50 people signed up for it. I'm like, this is step one, right? Of getting some of these people more resilient on that physical side of it. And if you complete 100 reps for 31 days in a row, what does that tell you about your mindset? Right? I'm consistent. I can do hard things. Well, now I'm starting to change their minds. You think they're going to eat a little better after they do 100 burpees? Probably. They're not going to have 100 burpees and then go, smash a pizza right after, because they want those results that they're working towards to last. And so it's little challenges like that. Like it's $10. Like you can put $10 towards yourself to become better at fitness, nutrition, and mindset. It's not a big investment. Or you can do personal training with me or mindset coaching. Like there's so many different avenues. It's a no-brainer. It's too easy to be a better human.
Essentially what you're saying is leading by example, right?
Yeah.
Being the person that you're trying to, spread out there and creating more of you out there.
Yeah. And just giving people more opportunities. Like a lot of people feel stuck. Like, oh, I can't afford the gym. Okay, well, here's a $10 version that you can do at home whenever you want.
Right.
How about that? Where's your excuses now? Oh, I don't have time. You can literally do it at home. You don't have to move. You can spread them out throughout the day. Like I'll be in Toronto on August 1st when the thing drops. So I'm going to be doing 100 burpees in a hotel room. Like you can do it anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't need special equipment or, thousands of dollars. You can become more resilient very easily. And so that's my job, right? Or my responsibility is to show people that they have those options.
Right. Right. Cool. I love that. So before I let you go, Kevin, what's one belief or daily habit that you hope that Holly picks up from you that will shape her life for the best later on in life?
I need to think about that one. We kind of mentioned it earlier, but that we unconditionally care for her, regardless of whatever choices that she makes. That's really all it boils down to. There's no, like she sees me lifting in the garage when I was competing for weightlifting and going to the Pan Am. She like peek her head out the window and see me training in the garage in the cold. And she'd be like, can I lift with you? I'm like, yes, I'm not going to say no to that. Right. So, like you said, leading by influence is definitely part of it. But, having her know that I care deeply about her, regardless of whatever decision she makes in her life, we're always going to be there to support her.
I love that. That's a great answer. Well, Kevin, I really appreciate your time on the show. Thanks for being the great person, the great dad that you are, and for being a really good influence for your community and for all the other dads out there.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thanks for having me.